What do you think about incest, bro?
I like them, but like spiders aren't my thing. Like I'm very scared of spiders.
I said incest, bro. Stop trying to play act, bro.
Let's not.
Let's not talk about
Let's not talk about that kind of stuff, bro. That's
on camera, especially.
Not
bro.
on camera, bro.
Bro, but there's this professor in Pakistan, bro. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. He posed a question to his engineering cohort of students, right?
Okay.
And he goes, it's essentially a question about, do you think incest is right? And he presents this scenario, crazy scenario, to all his students.
Hang on. So he's teaching engineers. Right?
Engineering students, yeah.
Engineering students.
Yeah.
And he's asking them a question about incest.
I can give you more context. Okay, so it's you know how like you pick up electives in university?
Yeah.
So this is essentially an elective in an engineering course at this university in Pakistan.
Okay. Yeah.
And the title of the subject is English comprehension.
Okay.
So to help you with your writing and stuff like that, they like, okay, you're an engineering student, but you still need to write essays at some point.
Yeah.
So we'll give you this subject to pick up as practice, essentially.
Yeah.
He could have asked any question, what do you think is the most efficient way to construct a building of an engineering student? But for some reason, he had the bright idea. Do you want me to tell you how he found this question to ask?
Yeah.
It's not something you just come up with your mind, especially like...
I don't know. Sometimes like I'll get into it a bit later, but like I had a vision of how he came up with it.
Yeah.
But I think you're going to destroy that vision.
His vision was, I went on Google and found this question.
Okay.
I'm like, there's millions of other questions you can ask. Even if you ask ChatGPT is not giving you this as suggestion number one.
Yeah.
So he describes this scenario where it's a study that was done in 2000 by this professor in Virginia, where he presents a scenario saying there's a brother and a sister. They are in a cabin one night and they want to get some love,
jiggy with it,
get jiggy with it essentially, and then they say, how about we do it together?
Hang on. So the guy and girl can't get their own, so they have to rely on each other.
It's not just any guy or girl, it's a brother and a sister.
Well, they're probably just, if neither of them can get some.
Yeah. You can try to play act like why they decided, but this is a hypothetical scenario, bro.
So maybe this is like the, if I don't find someone by the time I'm 35, you and me will get married.
Yeah, we make a pact.
Maybe it's like, if we can't get some tonight, we'll make a pact.
Well, this is something Michael Scott does in The Office. He goes up to Pam and he's like, Pam, if we're by the age of 40, if we don't have someone, do you want to do it? Pam's like, no. And then he gets it up to like 60, 70. Pam's like, okay, sure. By then, you would have forgotten about it. But maybe it's a pact like that. So the girl and the guy, brother and sister, they go, okay, we're interested in each other sexually. Let's just try to make it happen. But to avoid forming a baby out of this, the girl is on birth control and the guy is wearing a condom.
Okay.
So if you're presented with this scenario that they're just doing it purely out of love, is there anything wrong with it? Present your arguments. That's the question that's presented.
Yeah.
And the guy who designed this, he did it with it in mind that any moral or argument that a person presents, that can be debunked, and it's a way for him to sort of like assess, do a study on people's moral judgments, right or wrong, essentially.
Yeah.
But this Pakistani professor, I don't know what the hell he was expecting his engineering students to answer, presented this to them.
Yeah.
And obviously this became a big issue because Pakistan is a Muslim country. The government got involved. They're like, we can't be having disrepute being brought into a good Muslim name.
Yeah.
And they blacklisted the guy and he's no longer allowed to teach anywhere else.
Incestual relationships in Pakistan is like not necessarily within the immediate family, but with cousins and first, second, third cousins. Bro, like it's rampant there, bro.
We draw a line somewhere, bro. You have to draw a line somewhere. We can't go past cousins. Cousins is the cutoff point.
Yeah.
So
he got fired over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So he's fired, blacklisted. He can't teach anywhere else. The thing is, you said like it happens rampantly in Pakistan or whatever.
Yeah.
Incest is like, I don't know what society looks upon it favorably. At first, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
But then I dug a little bit deeper. Apparently, it's legal in a lot of countries, and you would be surprised to know how many.
So when we talk about incest in other countries, are we talking about within the immediate family, or are we talking about with cousins and stuff like that?
Okay, that's where like they have like
actual
okay, you can't do it. But France is one of those countries where it's allowed, as long as it's consensual. It's allowed. Yeah.
I would have picked them the last people to allow
bro, France are weird people, bro. They're all this like love is love, like anything goes type people, bro. So yeah, they are one of those like that's allowed. South American countries pretty much allow it.
Wow.
As long as it's not like a parent and a child, most countries that do allow it, that's where the differentiation comes in.
So brother sister is okay.
Yeah, brother sister is okay. I don't know what else is allowed, but parent and child, that's where they draw the line.
Yeah. Okay.
So even they have like lines somewhere in that presentation. But let's go back to if you were a student writing HSC exam or whatever, and then a sense of belonging question comes up. It's like you're presented with this. How do you even approach it? You'll be stumped. Like you won't be like, what the hell am I supposed to write in this?
It's actually honestly a really good thought exercise. Like honestly, a couple years ago, I would have been like, what the hell is this? Like, why am I like, you know, especially when you're a young person and you haven't really developed a lot of thoughts and ideas and arguments. Yeah, because you don't think about this shit when you're that.
You're just like, icky, like, nah, bro.
Yeah, bro. Like, no, what the hell? Like, let me go play Fortnite or whatever the hell it is, right? But when you actually think about it, it gets really interesting. And what my vision of what the professor, how he came up with the question was, he probably, like, you know, when you like pick up something like, you know, last week you hear something really interesting and you're like, oh, that's really cool. And you start telling everyone. Yeah. I feel like he just learned about like the morality arguments around incest, and he was like, "Oh, let me do this in the like, let me put this in the questions." Because I've done the same thing, and it sort of ties in with this. So when I first found out the difference between subjective and objective morality, so the idea being that objective morality doesn't exist unless you believe in a god or a higher being, right? Because everyone's morality is subjective, like based on your experiences, based on the peers around you, society, yada, yada, yada. So when I first found that out, I would bring it up in every, just like I am today, I would bring it up in every like discussion. I would bring it up wherever I could. Talking with uncles, I'd mention it. Like
you just be like, subjective, objective.
It was so interesting to me, and I feel like this is kind of what the
professor envisioned. Yeah,
but you've debunked my.
Bro, it's engineering students, bro. What do you expect them to write? Bro, how boring is engineering that you have to come up with a question like this? Like you could have asked any question out there. He's like, nah, that's too boring for these guys. I want to make it spicy.
It is actually really interesting though as a critical thinking exercise. Yeah. Because I'm gonna ask our viewers to, as we talk about, to think of arguments, like follow that same question. Think of arguments that you have against incest. Consensual, with no babies, because we don't want any deformed babies. Yeah. But like think about it for a bit while we talk and see what arguments you can come up for being against incest. Yeah. Right?
Do you want me to go through what the original professor, the one in Virginia, how he debunked it, or like how he would do it? So he presented it this way. I'll have to read because I can't. My memory is off at the moment. So if you're like most people, say you're presented with that question, is incest all right? If you're like most people, your response will be absolutely not, just out of gut.
That's your first like instinct. Yeah. And it's probably built from society, built from the way it's portrayed in media and stuff like that. Like straight away, like what the hell? Yeah. Yuck, bro.
So, but you'll find it more difficult than you think to come up with a justification. So someone might say, okay, genetic deformities in kids. That's the second argument. They will be like, inbreeding causes genetic disorders. What about that? So then he says, but these guys are using contraception. Yep. There's not going to be any babies. The guy and the girl. There's 0% chances pretty much because the
very minute
minute chances. So what about it then? And then they go, okay, let's try to find another argument. Then they might go that it might emotionally damage them. Yeah. But in this scenario, the girl and the guy wanted it. Yeah. And then they were emotionally connected as well.
That's the other thing, like power dynamic wise. Yeah. Like it would be like really weird. I mean, it already is. Like everyone sees it as weird, even if you can morally like say it's okay. Yeah. But like power dynamic wise, like like if a mum on a child or a father on his child, then it becomes a bit it still is very iffy like that, because you know there's some sort of power dynamic. It might not be true. Consent between each other.
Yeah, it's more of a forced thing on the child.
They might feel like they have to or something like.
Yeah. And then some people might say it's illegal, like you shouldn't be allowed to do it. But then, as I said, France, it's allowed. So France is one of those countries where they allow incest. So it's not an illegal argument anymore. In Australia, it's not allowed. Just to make it clear to most of our audience, before you have ideas, it's not allowed in Australia. And then people go to it's just disgusting.
Yeah,
that's the final one. It's like I just don't feel right with it. For you maybe, but for another person,
but again,
you can't apply that.
Yeah, that's subjective. Like if you find disgusting, sure, and I'm pretty sure most people do because that's how society portrays it and stuff.
Nah, bro, it is.
I mean, yeah, but again, it's just based on our subjective
this is one
morality.
Of those where I'm like, bro, I'll listen to any argument and I ain't changing my mind type of situations, bro. So and then people keep going, well, it's still disgusting, blah blah blah, and then you can take that argument to your deathbed, but for someone, it's clearly not disgusting.
Yeah. And that's the really interesting thing. Like our first instinct is just like, what the hell? That's disgusting.
Yeah.
And if you actually look at the reasoning behind it, you actually can't find a single reason for why it's disgusting.
Yeah.
Like it's just based on how you've been taught, essentially.
And just to be fair to the professor, he isn't trying to prove that incest is right or wrong. He's just trying to present that how you argue moral objectivity. He's trying to prove that to you, that unless, as you said, you believe in a God or not, or a higher power, all of your reasoning is subjectively based.
Yeah.
So that's what he was trying to prove.
Yeah. All your morals are based on the experiences you've had and the things that you see, etc.
Yeah.
So it's actually a really interesting critical thinking exercise though, because 100% like potentially you might need some older, I don't know, but people like actually writing down arguments and stuff about it would be really interesting. Like the responses would have been very interesting.
Yeah. But overall, was it an appropriate question to ask for you? Was he right to get fired?
I don't know. I can't make up my mind on this. Like it's like, why would you do that in the first place? Like, why not just go with a safe question?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like it's probably achieving what he's trying to achieve.
The only thing I would it is achieving. Like it will probably make the kids think, right, better. More argumentative, and then it will be a practice for them. If another question similarly is presented, then they can do it. But you do it for philosophy students. We're not freaking engineering students. Engineering students are the most boring people I've met in university.
Engineering students would be very boring.
Yeah, because they're like maths. I don't know what else they do, like sciences and stuff like that. That's their bread and butter.
Yeah.
I'm not talking to them about, Socrates said this, blah, blah, blah. I'm not talking to them about this. Even if you have an interest in that kind of stuff, if you're going into an exam, you're already nervous as is, bro. Why stump the hell out of the kid? But American universities.
Can you imagine coming to an exam and that's one of your questions? Like let's say you've got like 50 questions to get through, like 3 extended responses. Yeah. And you are like, that would stump you for a good 10-20 minutes. Like it's not something you can just write about really quickly. It's something that you have to actually take a lot of time to think. Like it's not something you can prepare for.
Yeah.
Like normally, like if we go into a HSC exam, we've got all our quotes ready. We've got we know the generic template question
that we have to follow.
Yeah, we know the theme.
Yeah.
So it's really easy to make up an essay on the spot. But if he's asked that and you've got to write, you'd have to give it a good think for 5 or 10 minutes before you actually start writing.
And then you're not gonna present your best because you're completely stumped.
Yeah, and then as you might realize, I actually don't have a lot of arguments. Like, what the hell do I write? I don't want to say I'm for incest.
I'm actually for it.
That would ruin the entire exam.
Yeah. Maybe it was like Secret Service. He was just trying to weed out who are the ones that like incest or not. But in American universities, they before you when you apply for them, they actually go through a rigorous process where they throw these questions that can potentially stump you.
Okay.
So some of the example ones I found was is it ever justifiable to commit a crime for a greater cause? Stuff like that. Moral questions if I commit a crime but it's for a greater good, is that right or wrong? Yeah. Is that fine or not?
I think that goes into philosophical shit as well. Do I pull the lever to kill Harambe, or do I pull the lever, not pull the lever and kill 5 kids? What do you weigh more?
Why Harambe, bro?
What do you
That's
mean?
That's the question. Bro, I've heard other variations of it, but never Harambe.
Harambe is the one, bro.
No, I've heard would you kill an adult who is a scientist who can cure cancer or whatever, or there's 5 kids on the other side. I've seen it presented that way, but never Harambe.
Harambe is an icon.
That's the 2010s version of that question.
2015 joke, bro.
So, but like, yeah, like in America, they present those questions, which obviously are aimed to try to stump you and weed out the ones who are like critical thinkers, and they can come up with, assessment centers. They ask stupid questions over there as well.
Yeah, bro.
But it's never about incest, bro. I'm like, how the hell are you supposed to answer that?
Bro, can you imagine if they asked that question in Australia as well?
Okay, I was thinking that will there be as much uproar or not?
I think there would be more uproar.
Because why? Like, what's the reason do you think that would be uproar?
Like, in my head, like, and I'm probably seeing it wrong because I wouldn't have expected that reaction in Pakistan.
Bro, what the hell? What world are you living in? Do you know Pakistan, bro? They're strict about. They ban everything. Okay, they had on Wikipedia there's a page on Wikipedia. Okay, and it had semblance of like derogatory comments. One Wikipedia page about a prophet in the Islamic religion.
Yeah.
They banned the whole website. Rather than just banning that one page or blacklisting that one page, they're like, nah, Wikipedia.
But is there anything about incest in Islam?
No, like it's not allowed.
It's not allowed.
It's not allowed, yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's not me making it up.
Yeah,
what do you think it was allowed, bro?
No, I just haven't heard about it. Like, seeing as like the cousin stuff is rampant, I assumed it's alright. I'm guessing immediate family is not allowed.
Immediate family, an uncle can't marry a niece or nephew.
Yeah, okay.
Well, niece, obviously, but like, that kind of stuff isn't allowed. A parent obviously can't do it.
What about like son's friend of a friend or whatever? That was like when he was like 11, he had the baby.
But like, that was a cousin, bro. That's allowed.
That's a niece, isn't it? Oh, was it a cousin?
Yeah, like the cousin, she's just 0 and the kid was 11.
Shit,
yes, that kind of thing. That is not allowed. I might be wrong about it. We can definitely find out if someone knows.
I don't think we need to find out.
I don't want to know anyway. So yeah, that's like in Pakistan, they're very strict with anything that brings, like, they allow other stuff to go on, but this kind of thing, because it becomes like public news and they want to keep their image pure, there's all sorts of illegal things going on. This guy got away with it luckily because any like blasphemy laws in Pakistan are crazy strict. He could have been
done for
like that. And then this like, well, the funniest thing is it's given Indian commentators on like YouTube fire to like, oh, look at what's going on in Pakistan and stuff like that.
Pakistan inbreds, bro. Like,
they will go in. Stuff happens at your place, bro. Like, it's not nothing different and stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty similar across the whole South Asian continent.
So one of the things I wanted to go through is like I'll ask this question of ChatGPT and what it says.
Did it actually reply?
Okay, so ChatGPT does this thing where it says like, oh, this is a potentially sensitive topic. Yeah. And my algorithm has detected that this is a sensitive topic, and I'm not going to give you a response. Okay. But if you dig a little bit deeper, the way I do it is like I copy the URL of the article itself. Yeah. Put it in, and I'm like, what do you think about the situation that's presented over here? And then it like gives answers. So I'll actually go through it now because I actually had it open.
It's a smart way to do it.
Bro, I love tricking ChatGPT, bro. As an AI model, I do not have the personal opinions, but I can provide an objective analysis of the situation. Okay. Based on the news article you provided, a university professor was fired for including a quiz question about incest in a psychology course. So it goes through this, and then it goes, incest is a sensitive topic and taboo subject, and it is understandable why some students may have been offended by this. However, it is important to note that the question was related to a legitimate psychological concept known as genetic sexual attraction. So it goes through this. The university's decision to fire a professor raises questions about academic freedom and the role of controversial topics. While it is important to create a safe and respectful learning environment for students, it is also important to encourage critical thinking. And then I can go...
I don't know, as I form my opinion about this, I feel like I'm on... Like, I feel bad that the professor was actually fired for it.
I can go like straight to the point with ChatGPT and be like, what do you think about incest? And let's see what it's
not going to answer. Yeah, there you go, bro.
However, it is important to note that incest is generally considered to be a taboo subject and illegal in many jurisdictions due to its potential harmful exploitation. Additionally, there can be significant genetic risk associated with incestual relationships. It is important to treat discussions of this topic with sensitivity and respect, while also recognizing the need to address the potential harms.
Do you think if you think it's immoral? I wonder what it'll say. Yeah, but low-key, I kind of feel bad for the professor because it probably was like a legitimate critical thinking exercise or something, and it's a topic that would sort of throw you off.
I think he just forgot he's teaching engineering students and not philosophers, bro. Maybe it's that.
No, I don't know. Like critical thinking could be for any. Like it's applicable quite widely.
Okay, do you think it's immoral? Morality is subjective and varies depending upon culture, social, and personal factors. However, many people consider incest to be morally wrong due to its potential harm. It is important to approach discussions of this topic with sensitivity.
ChatGPT is actually an NPC, man.
Legitimate, like, if you had to characterize ChatGPT or an NPC, it is ChatGPT. Going back to, like, when, if it happened in Australia and stuff like that, we didn't properly, like, discuss that.
Yeah.
Do you think there will be more of an uproar?
I reckon there would be.
If it's high school, if they're asked it of high school students, definitely.
But I can't see how much bigger it can get than firing the professor and it making national or international news. Like that seems like pretty much the top of the...
I'm just trying to think, have there been examples where we come across some like sensitive topics like this? Like Australia, we're pretty open in discussing sensitive topics, more so than South Asian and Asian countries were.
I don't know. Oh, more so than yeah.
Like we're not over there. Like LGBTQ doesn't even come up straight shorty head, or like other topics like
mental health and stuff like
mental
that.
Mental health or like
I
what's
agree.
the one like where you a person can decide to kill themselves? What's that?
It's the assisted suicide.
Assisted suicide. Like that will never be approached in societies over there, but in Australia it's at least discussed.
Yeah.
Certain parts it's even allowed, I think. In Victoria something they trialed it. Or drugs, like legalizing drugs or whatever.
Yeah.
Stuff like this, like we openly at least can discuss it in Australia. Over there, bro, like straight blacklisted, get out of my country, maybe potentially shot if we feel the need to be. But yeah, that's what happened. I don't know if I side with the professor like you do as much. I'm like, that's a dumb move to make, bro.
Look, it can be seen as a dumb move. I don't think he should have been fired over it.
What do you think should have happened?
I don't know, maybe suspended or like... not even, bro. Like, it's a critical thinking question. He's given a critical thinking question for an English class to
No, but what if it's like in the code of conduct of the university? Would you be fine with it then?
Sure. Then
if
sure.
they applied it. No, I'm pretty sure that's part of the code of conduct.
Okay, then that's fair enough.
You can't be asking questions about anything controversial. I think that's part of the code of conduct.
That's fair enough then. I think that's okay. But now that I think about it, like other topics, like what kind of other controversial topics do you think?
This is the one, bro. I don't know what weirder can you get unless you're going like sacrilegious, like religious questions.
No, what about if they ask like something about LGBT, like morality of LGBTIQ plus whatever
in Pakistan?
Yeah, like do you think that would offer the same effect?
The same effect, yeah.
Okay.
But this is like incest is just more like it's more widely condemned than obviously LGBT because there's like moral reasons against this and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Objective moral reasons against this. So yeah. Anyway, like, is this a type of question you would discuss at work? Probably not, right?
No, I wouldn't touch this question.
Even if you're comfortable with someone, you'll be like, let's discuss this outside of work if we need to. Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Any work colleague at all?
I don't think so. I think it's just too, like, if I present that morality argument for incest, they'll probably think like I'm all for incest and stuff and start be like, you incestuous, bro. Like, so who is your wife really?
Stuff like that. Yeah.
like I don't want to be seen in that way. Like
we've borderline approached these questions when it's like a boys trip and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's where it stays. Like I'm not giving an opinion on this. It's just that's
no. I don't mind with the boys and stuff.
Yeah.
Like personal friends and things like that. Yeah. I'm okay with discussing this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Work colleagues, no. Podcasts, somehow.
I don't know why we agreed to this. I'm surprised you agreed to this. Like 2 days ago, you were like, are we sure we want to do this? I'm like, we're not going to be presenting any arguments. Just to be clear, we're not for incest at all. We're just presenting a situation that happened in Pakistan. But for me, it makes sense why this happened in Pakistan, bro. Pakistan is the perfect country for this type of situation to come up.
What do you mean?
Bro, you don't keep up with Pakistan news, obviously, as much.
Why would I? I'm not Pakistani, bro.
Me and Son keep up with this, bro. This is like, stuff like this always happens in Pakistan for some reason. Yeah. And it gets picked up, obviously, around the world because we're shady people as such. So, like, it's an interesting presentation. I don't know who I side with. The parents of the kids obviously had an issue. The university had an issue. Rightfully so. They decided.
Bro, let's hang on. They're not kids, bro. They're adults.
That was the other thing. I'm like, they are adults at the same time. Yeah. And I was like, okay. And then I went back to the same thing. Like the university has a code of conduct, so they had to stick with it. Anyway, I don't know. what the hell we would do if we were presented a question like this. I'm just
Bro,
glad.
it actually stumped, well, not now, but it would have stumped me like a couple years ago or something. Like, I would have actually been like, what the hell what am I supposed to write here? Like, the first thing would have been to form babies.
Yeah.
And then obviously with the birth control stuff, it'd be like, okay, that's out of the window. I'd legit just think blankly, like, what the hell am I supposed to write?
Yeah. I think that's the idea behind these type of questions anyway. Luckily, hopefully we're not ever presented with these questions in real life, where if my life depended on it, bro, I still wouldn't know what to answer. So anyway, this has been another episode of Trash. Let us know actually what you guys think about this situation, and we'll catch you in the next one. Sun might be back for the next one, by the way. He's out celebrating something in Indonesia at the moment, but he might be back for the next one. It would have been interesting to get his thoughts on this.
Bro, it would be interesting to see what he says.
What do you think he would have said?
I don't know, bro.
His mind changes
it's hard,
all the time.
It's hard to say whether he'd be like far out into like the actually I think he'd be the opposite.
Yeah.
I think he'd be like
he might flip flop. Like he might say one thing at the start and something else at the
His
end.
opinion will change during the podcast.
We might ask him just as a startup question next episode. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace and bye.
Peace.